Shout out to my fellow number nerds out there. Today we start lesson 2 of chapter 9, which is called Quadratic Functions. Now, our ability to identify key features from a quadratic equation directly affects the speed and precision with which we can graph. So, the graph of y equals ax squared plus bx plus c has the line x equals negative b over 2a as its axis of symmetry. So obviously, where did those come from? Right here. So that is always going to be our axis of symmetry. Now, the b value is what causes a change in our axis of symmetry, all right? So that fact that we have a b value in there, that's what will move that axis of symmetry for us. Another thing, the x coordinate of the vertex is negative b over 2a. So the y-intercept of any equation is found by making the x value equal to 0. So in the quadratic equation, if x has a value of 0, then y is always going to be the c value. All right, so far this is very, very word-based, and we haven't seen any of the practicality to it. So we're going to go ahead and look at this next page. And we're supposed to use the key features that I just talked about to draw this graph, x squared minus 4x plus 3. So our first job is to find the axis of symmetry and the coordinates of the vertex. So remember, the axis of symmetry is this negative b over 2a. So negative b simply means the opposite of b. Well, the opposite of negative 4 is 4. And 2 times the value of a, well, I don't see a number here. But remember, when we don't see a number, that means there's 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. So 4 over 2 simplifies to 2. So the value of x is 2. Now, if I make the value of x equal to 2, all right? So I make the value of x equal to 2. I'm going to now plug that in here. So 2 squared is 4 minus 4 times 2, which is 8, plus 3. 4 minus 8 is negative 4, plus 3 is negative 1. So my ordered pair is 2, negative 1. That's the coordinate of my vertex. So I know that 2, negative 1 is the vertex. Now I have to find 2 other points on the graph. I have to find the y-intercept. Well, what did we just say? When x is 0, the y-intercept is whatever the value of c is. So my y-intercept is 0, 3. So over 0, up 3. Now it says find one other point. Okay, so now I know that since 2 is the vertex axis of symmetry, I know I've already found one point on the left side of it. Now I want one point on the right side of it. So I'm just going to pick 3. So I'm going to go back up here to the top, and I'm going to make my x value 3. So 3 squared is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. and then add that 3. 9 take away 12 is -3. -3 plus 3 is 0. So 3, 0 is another point. Now, we graphed the vertex and the points from step 2. The next one says, reflect our points from step 2 across the axis of symmetry. So remember, I'm going to go ahead and draw this on just to give you a visual. Remember that this right here is your axis of symmetry. That's like your mirror image line. So whatever appears on one side, so notice this, one step to the right, and we put our dot here. So in that same spot, one step to the left will be another one of the dots. Over here, we did 2 steps from the line to the left, so we can do 2 steps to the right. And then we draw our parabola, again, not making straight lines, knowing that this is going to swoop up. So then we stop and think about it. We've got a minimum point. We touch the x-axis in 2 places. We've got a y-intercept. All right, so we've identified a few things about our quadratic equation. Okay, so the next problem. Find the equation of the axis of symmetry and the coordinates of the vertex of this graph, -3x squared plus 12x plus 1. Okay, so for this one, I don't have to graph it, but I'm asked to find a few things. I'm asked to find the axis of symmetry, the coordinates of the vertex. All right, so basically 2 things that we need to find here. So to start, I'm going to find that axis of symmetry. So the axis of symmetry, the value of x is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. So the opposite of b, well, here's my b value. The opposite of 12 is -12. 2 times the value of a, 2 times -3 is -6. So -12 divided by -6 is 2. So here's what I know. I know my axis of symmetry is going to happen at a +2. Now, in order to find the actual coordinates of that vertex, I have to plug that x value in to this original equation right here and see what the y value is. So I have -3 times 2 squared plus 12 times 2 plus 1. 2 squared is 4. So now I have -3 times 4 plus 24 plus 1. And -3 times 4 is -12 plus 24 plus 1. -12 plus 24 is 12, and 12 plus 1 is 13. So my ordered pair, okay, my x value, y value, my ordered pair is when x is 2, y is 13. Now this one is going to look a little different. Now notice it didn't say we had to graph it, but if I were to graph this one, it would go over 2 up 13. And just a little hint here, because of this negative sign out front, the parabola is going to open down. Okay? All right, so here is your task. It's your turn. I want you to use each of the 3 equations I've given you here to find the axis of symmetry. I also want you to find the vertex point and the y-intercept. So if we go back to this last one, if I had asked you to find the y-intercept for this, remember the y-intercept is what y is when x is 0. If I made x 0, the value of c, so the y-intercept for this one would have been when x is 0, y is 1. Okay, so my graph is way off. It would have dropped way lower than that. All right, so you're going to find the axis of symmetry. You're going to find the coordinates of the vertex point, and you're going to find the y-intercept. So 3 things for this. Now, sometimes, just so you're aware, sometimes the y-intercept is the exact same as your vertex point. So if that happens, then you'll only have 2 answers. All right, so once again, here are the problems you need to complete before the next time we have class. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.